On June 16, 2026, SpaceX executed a $60 billion all-stock acquisition of the AI coding startup Cursor. The deal closed just days after SpaceX completed the largest initial public offering in history. Elon Musk immediately leveraged his newly public capital to open a highly specific new front for his corporate empire: enterprise AI developer tools. On the surface, Cursor was an absolute juggernaut. By the time of the buyout, the startup had crossed $4 billion in annual recurring revenue. That was a four-fold increase in revenue over a span of just 7 months. Yet this $60 billion exit hides a contradiction. Despite generating billions in revenue, the business model was broken, leaving the startup's founders searching for an exit. This dual-axis chart reveals the hidden crisis. While Cursor's revenue climbed steadily between June 2025 and May 2026, their actual slice of the AI coding market plummeted from 41% down to 26%. To survive that loss in market share, Cursor had to spend heavily. The startup burned through $900 million in the summer of 2025 and another $2.3 billion later that year. That totals $3.2 billion in cash burn in a matter of months. Cursor's revenue spike followed the expansion of the entire AI coding market. They weren't outperforming their peers. They were simply riding the industry-wide wave. Cursor found itself trapped. Continuing as an independent company meant raising billions more just to break even, while simultaneously losing ground to larger competitors. The battleground for this market is the IDE, the Integrated Development Environment. This is the software application where developers write, test, and debug code. It is the digital factory floor for all future software, making it the most valuable real estate in technology. This map categorizes the titans fighting for control. You have Microsoft backing GitHub, Anthropic with Claude, OpenAI deploying Codex, and SpaceX armed with Cursor. Anthropic's Claude bypassed the IDE, draining Cursor's advanced users. Simultaneously, Microsoft and OpenAI locked down enterprise contracts, completely squeezing Cursor out. These tech giants are pursuing a goal beyond simple software subscriptions. They are fighting to capture developers where they work and lock them exclusively into a specific AI ecosystem. Cursor's initial selling point was neutrality. They allowed developers to choose between models from OpenAI, Anthropic, or Google. But that meant Cursor had to pay expensive API usage fees to the very titans trying to destroy them. To survive in this market, a company requires massive physical resources. You cannot build a competitive coding assistant without the sheer scale of proprietary supercomputing infrastructure needed to train your own models. But SpaceX instantly solved Cursor's infrastructure deficit. The acquisition connected Cursor directly to the Colossus supercomputer, the massive AI training cluster operated by SpaceX's newly integrated xAI division. SpaceX confirmed in its merger filing that its AI division and Cursor have been jointly training a model for several months, utilizing the full power of the Colossus supercomputer. The $60 billion price tag secures a direct, highly engaged distribution pipeline for SpaceX's own Grok AI models. The acquisition of Cursor marks a violent compression in how quickly technology markets consolidate. This chart compares two historical timelines in the developer tool space. It took GitHub 7 years of steady growth to reach a $7.5 billion buyout by Microsoft. Cursor went from an accelerator program to an acquisition worth $60 billion in just 2 years. Inside Cursor, the strategic shift will be immediate. The platform's defining feature, its neutral support for multiple AI models, will be phased out, transforming the IDE into a forced delivery vehicle for SpaceX's own Grok models. As a direct consequence, Anthropic, Google, and OpenAI will be abruptly severed from the millions of developers who previously accessed their models through the Cursor interface. Following this deal, the landscape is completely locked down. Every single major AI coding platform is now wholly owned by Microsoft, OpenAI, Anthropic, or SpaceX. Building the future of coding now requires the bottomless capital and physical infrastructure of a monolithic tech empire. Without that backing, an independent startup simply cannot sustain the compute costs or the customer reach needed to survive.